This tree is lovely. How do you do? May I introduce myself to you? As you strive to reach sun's full embrace, I see the pain upon your face, yet you stand rooted steadfastly. What wisdom will you impart to me? I see a bird just resting there, this tree who stands without a care. And soon your sap will start to flow, your bark will stretch and you will grow. Your leaves will bud with season's pace. We'll speak again in this very place. Hi everybody, how is it going? Welcome to my home. You are always most welcome here. So Pugsatani Phil said we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. So I thought I would just check in with y'all and see how your winter is going. Did you get snow? Have you had fun? We didn't actually get much snow around here this year. In fact, I wasn't even able to make a snow person, which is kind of sad because that was the only friend I made last year. I might explain why I'm outside talking to the trees, right? And you might hear Bo barking in the background in this video because there's a possum in my yard right now. We've had this possum that's been hanging around lately. So anyway, I just wanted to talk with you and let you know that this year, well, let me back up. For those of you who don't know, in years past, I've always suffered very acutely with the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, SAD, SAD. So it affects, from what I read, 4 times as many women as it does men, and it is usually a winter depression. And when the sunlight comes back, it's, you know, the symptoms tend to wane away and we start to feel, you know, normal. We start to come back up and feel normal again. And then as we go into winter and the shorter days, you start to feel those symptoms. Those symptoms can be anything for anybody. It's just almost like a regular depression where you feel, sluggish, not motivated, hard to concentrate, maybe irritable. You just don't feel like taking on new challenges or really, you know, getting involved in any real projects at all, the kind of normal depression type things. And so mine was actually debilitating in years past. So I wanted to touch base with y'all and let you know that this year I am completely symptom free. Yay! But I also want to stress the fact, well, one thing I want to make sure everybody understands is I'm not a doctor. So I'm not here to diagnose and I'm not here to treat, that's for sure. I'm just here to share with you what I've used that has helped me and to encourage you. If you ever suffer with any kind of depression at all, I want you to, I want you to work very closely with your doctor and let your doctor know what kinds of things what kind of steps you're sort of thinking about taking as far as alleviating your symptoms. And just work really close with your doctor. I do. My doctor knows everything I've done. In fact, I've told my doctor stuff about plant allies that he wasn't aware of, and he's like so for it. He even checks and asks me now, how many drops are you up to? What are you doing, you know, as far as this or that? And it's a wonderful give and take relationship. So I encourage you to work with your doctor. But I do want to just tell you sort of a rounded, sort of all around kind of a thing that I do that I have helped me alleviate these terrible symptoms that I don't feel anymore. And so I feel like each one of these things that I do is sort of a spoke of a wheel. So there's no one magic bullet in any of this, not even with the tincture. I don't believe that that's a magic bullet. I just think that it is part of a whole. And that's why I talk about like spokes of a wheel, and then it's just an all-around thing that you can do to help you get through these symptoms. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is when I first wake up in the morning, I stretch. That is the first thing that I do, even before I let myself have coffee or take the dog out or anything else. And I don't do like yoga or Tai Chi. I do a stretching routine that works for me. And so what I really want to do is just wake my body up and get that oxygen-rich blood going straight to my brain. Okay, the second thing is I do take St. John's wort tincture. I started out, you all were with me last summer when I discovered St. John's wort. I had tried growing it before, and I didn't have much passion for it because I didn't know how much of an effect that this little plant was going to have on my life. And then last year, when I discovered it growing all around me, I took you all with me and I took full advantage of the St. John's wort. I made the tincture and I made salve out of it. I made oil, and then the oil became salve, of course. So when winter first started out, I started, and this usually starts for me just before Thanksgiving, about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And I started out at 4 drops. And then as we got shorter and shorter days, closer and closer to the solstice, I did up it to 5 drops. Not that I was feeling any ill effects, it's just that I wanted to ensure that none of those symptoms would pop up. So tinctures are part of my routine that I do. And then also, I'm just gonna go ahead and mention that I do take echinacea. And I actually, because Echinacea pallida grows native in my area, I don't really have any Echinacea purpurea growing around here that I see, but I do have Echinacea pallida. And I use the flower heads, the stems, and the leaves to make a tincture. And that's just an all-around immune booster. And so that's a big part of what I take too every day also. And that's in addition to the supplements that me and my doctor have decided on that are right for me. So I do every day, I take 5 drops of the St. John's wort, and I'm up to 7 drops of the Echinacea tincture. Also, just briefly, this is sort of a side note, but my husband quit smoking cigarettes. Yay! His whole family is so proud of him. But I do want to mention, though, that when you quit smoking, your lungs are like really sensitive for a little while. And he was going out in the cold weather, and those little hairs that are on your lungs, they start moving around again because they're not like sticky with tar anymore and all that. They start moving around. They're like super sensitive at first. So he was coughing more after he quit smoking than he coughed when he smoked. And so we put him on tincture of mullein, and I told him, I said, you know, it's a gentle plant ally. I think of it as you have an issue, right? You have a problem, and then you have a gap, and then you have a solution. So I think of pharmaceuticals as something that catapults you to the other side, whereas a plant ally gently supports you so that you can get to the other side on your own. That's how I always explain plant allies to people. And so I told him it would take 2 weeks to get the full effects of that mullein tincture in his system. 2 weeks and a day, his cough ended. So yes. So now just today, one of my dear friend in the city just called me and said, do you have any more of that mullein tincture for me and my friend? And yeah, I'm sharing it. I'm sending it out to her. She's going to get her batch in just a couple of days. But still, I want you to understand, I do not consider any of these tinctures as a magic bullet. It is but one spoke in the wheel of a holistic approach to your own better care, your own self-better care. Okay, and so after that, also I wanted to let you know that I journal. So I take a lot, I think a lot of our seasonal affective disorder, it is physical because of the less light that we feel, but a whole lot of it is emotional and mental. And I journal. That's why I was reading my poem. And I don't normally read my poetry to people. I just know that none of you who watch my channel would ever judge me. So I felt comfortable reading one of my poems. And I'm no Robert Frost, although I do love Robert Frost, and he inspires the holy heck out of me. So I write poetry, I write funny anecdotal stories. I could just pour out emotions on some days, but whatever it is, I center, I get it out on paper, and I line with it, and I write it down, and then it's done. I can close the book and it's done, and I'm done with it for that day. I journal every single day. My diet. I would love to say, oh, I eat great in the wintertime. I am a Midwestern gal, and I eat meat and potatoes and lots of pizza and lots of Italian soups. And today I'm going to go up and get a taco salad. So it's not like I up my diet, but every day I do come in and I center and I focus with a little tea ceremony, and I have some refreshing tea. I've shared those tea ceremonies with y'all, and I eat chocolate. Chocolate, I know everybody's going, chocolate. Chocolate actually has chemicals in it that tell our brain that we're happy. And so every day when I come in for my little tea ceremony, I nibble on some dark chocolate, and it just uplifts me. It just boosts me right up, you know, and that's usually around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then by 7 o'clock, chamomile. I have at least I have at least 6 ounces of chamomile. No, I take that back. I have 12 ounces of chamomile because I have to make it twice. So I have 12 ounces of chamomile. And if I feel like I'm not feeling sleepy yet, I'll go ahead and double that and have 24 ounces of chamomile tea every day. And so those are the things that, like I said, work with your doctor, try some things, take active part in healing yourself. And just, I want you to know that you are not alone in this. There are other people that suffer with it too, and that I think that together we can try stuff and we can get through this. All right, you guys, much love and light. Thanks for being with me. Blessed be.